Have you ever tried walking into a room and then immediately forgot why you're there? Or opened the fridge and completely forgot what it is you want? I went online and learned that there's actually a term for this phenomenon. It's called the doorway effect. Psychologists from the University of Notre Dame conducted an experiment to prove this. They asked undergrads to place 6 blocks of various shapes and colors in a shoebox, cover it with a lid, and then carry the box across the room and into the other room through a doorway. The strange thing is, when asked what's in the box,
I'll show you the box. What was in the box? What's in the box?
participants can remember the contents most of the time, but when they walk through doorways, their performance was consistently worse. Researchers concluded that it's not our memory or intelligence that's failing, it's just how the brain works. The brain simply purges some of your memory when new information comes in. So when you enter a new room, your brain purges the memory from the old room to make way for the new information from the new room. The average human brain weighs 1.34 kilograms and is 60% fat. It doesn't have pain receptors. That is why it's possible for brain surgeons to perform operation while the patient is awake. It uses 20% of the blood and oxygen that is produced in our body. But what interests me the most is how terrible the human brain is when it comes to dealing with the truth. According to Leon Festinger in his theory of cognitive dissonance, our brain seeks consistency in our thoughts, emotions, and actions. And if something disrupts that consistency, we experience a psychological discomfort known as dissonance. And that dissonance or discomfort motivates us to try and reduce the conflict. Now here's the interesting part. There are at least 4 ways we do to reduce that dissonance: adjust, deny, select, and repackage. To give you an example, suppose you secretly believe that all members of Group X are immoral. A friend you've always known to be a morally upright person reveals to you that she's a member of Group X. This triggers a dissonance because what you've just experienced contradicts your beliefs. Now, if you're not heavily invested in the belief, you might just simply adjust your views. You change your belief to, not all members of Group X are immoral. You adjust. If you're both equally invested in the belief and the friendship, you might refuse to believe that your friend is a true member of Group X. You deny. If you are more invested in the belief than the friendship, you cherry-pick the information that is consistent with your belief and ignore the information that contradicts it. When you see any flaw in your friend's morals, you'll use it against her, and when your friend does something good, you ignore. You select. And finally, if you are heavily invested in the belief than the friendship, you could convince yourself that your friend, who appears to be morally upright, is not. You might tell yourself that she only appears to be good, that she is just pretending to be good. Now anything she says, good or bad, confirms your belief. You repackage. You become so heavily invested in your idea that you find yourself bending truth into their opposites. Love becomes hate, friend becomes enemy, moral becomes immoral, just to preserve that idea. Cognitive dissonance focuses on the conflict between 2 ideas. Those 2 ideas don't of course exist by themselves. Networks of reinforcing ideas often lie behind them. For example, regarding our hypothetical scenario where you believe Group X is immoral, maybe your entire community has always condemned Group X. You might have attacked some members of Group X in the past based solely on this belief. If it turns out that not all members of Group X is immoral, you have some tough realities to face. First, you have to admit that your entire community is wrong. And second, you have to admit your own hateful behavior was unjustified. These could have big implications to your loyalty and credibility in the community and for your self-image. These tough realities might feel very threatening to you. So in order for the threat to go away, you find a way to preserve your belief that all members of Group X are immoral. You turn on your friends to preserve your false belief. Thoughtful people can tolerate the discomfort of opposing ideas long enough to listen, watch, read the arguments, information, and evidence presented. They can evaluate the benefits of new information and adjust, modify, or change their own prior knowledge to accommodate new and worthy information. That is how cognitive dissonance is resolved using our reasoning capacity. Those who cannot tolerate the discomfort of cognitive dissonance will not listen, read, and watch the opposing information or consider the merits of the arguments put forth. These people prefer to stick with what they already know, rejecting that which doesn't fit. Sadly, they may never gain the merits of broader understanding and the importance of integrating new information.